Have you ever gotten a call so strange, so chilling, that it made you question everything? For Daniel, it all started one night at 2:30 a.m. The shrill ring of his phone sliced through the silence, and when he looked at the screen, his blood ran cold. The caller ID showed a name he hadn't seen in years, a name that belonged to his sister, Emily. But Emily had passed away 3 years ago. His heart hammered against his ribs as he stared at her name, glowing on the screen. How was this possible? Was it some cruel prank, or something far more sinister? He couldn't bring himself to answer, so he let it go to voicemail, his hand trembling as he waited for the notification. The voicemail icon appeared, and with a deep, shaky breath, Daniel pressed play. A burst of static crackled through the speaker, followed by a faint, distorted voice. It was a woman's voice, whispering words he couldn't quite make out, but the tone, the cadence, it was undeniably Emily's. He played it again and again, trying to decipher the message, but it was just a garbled whisper, like a voice from a great distance. Chills snaked down his spine. He tried calling the number back, but an automated message simply said, "The number you have dialed is not in service." Sleep was impossible that night. He was left alone with the static-filled echo of his sister's voice and 1,000 unanswered questions. The next night, it happened again. 2:30 a.m. On the dot, Emily's name lit up his screen. This time, he mustered the courage to answer. He yelled, "Hello, Emily," into the phone, but there was only dead silence on the other end. No static, no whispers, just an unnerving void. He hung up, his mind racing. Was he losing his grip on reality? The calls became a nightly ritual, a terrifying appointment he couldn't cancel. Every night at 2:30 a.m., his phone would ring. Sometimes he'd answer to silence. Other times he'd let it go to voicemail. The messages were always the same. Staticky whispers that sounded just like Emily, but the words were always unintelligible. 1 week into this nightly horror, the voicemails began to change. The whispers grew clearer, more desperate. He could make out fragments of sentences. "Daniel, help me. I'm lost. It's so cold here." Her voice sounded strained, filled with a panic that felt terrifyingly real. Each message was a new piece of a puzzle he couldn't solve, and each one left him more terrified than the last. He felt like he was being haunted, not by a ghost, but by technology itself. His phone, the device that connected him to the world, had become a portal to something he couldn't comprehend. The nightly calls were draining him, leaving him paranoid and sleep-deprived. Driven to the edge, Daniel turned to the one place he could think of: the internet. He typed, "Getting calls from a deceased relative" into the search bar, his fingers fumbling on the keyboard. He wasn't expecting to find anything, but then he saw it. A link to an old, obscure forum. The post was titled, "The 213 Calls." His heart stopped. He clicked the link and found dozens of stories, all mirroring his own. People from all over the world described receiving calls at the exact same time. Las 2:03 a.m. from loved ones who had passed away. They all described the static, the whispers, the escalating desperation in the messages. But the most terrifying part, every single thread ended abruptly, the original posters simply vanishing from the forum without explanation. Reading those stories, Daniel felt a new kind of dread. This was bigger than him. It was a widespread phenomenon, a digital haunting with no rhyme or reason. But why 2:13 a.m.? What was the significance? He spent hours scrolling through the forum, but found no answers, only more questions and a growing sense of shared doom. He went to bed that night feeling a profound sense of dread, knowing that in just a few hours, his phone would ring again. He placed it on his nightstand, face down, as if that could somehow stop what was coming. He tossed and turned, sleep eluding him, his ears straining for the inevitable ring. But 2:30 a.m. came and went in silence. The phone didn't ring. For a moment, Daniel felt a wave of relief wash over him. Was it finally over? Had the nightmare ended? He closed his eyes, almost daring to hope. But then, a soft, ethereal glow filled the room. He slowly opened his eyes and looked towards his nightstand. His phone screen was on, illuminating the darkness with a chilling message. It wasn't a call or a text. It was a system notification, displayed in stark white letters against a black screen. It read, "Connection almost established. Please stand by." He stared, frozen in terror. The connection to what? Or to whom? He realized then that the silence wasn't an ending. It was a beginning. The calls had just been the prelude. Now, he was left to wait, trapped in his own room, watching his phone, waiting for the connection to be complete. And he knew, with horrifying certainty, that when it was, he would finally find out where Emily had been calling from.